Greetings fellow horror fans. Well, our look at the Friday the 13th franchise continues on with Part 7, The New Blood. While the undead and decomposing Jason Voorhees remains chained to the bottom of Crystal Lake since the events of the previous film, young Tina Shepard witnesses her alcoholic father physically abusing her mother. Well, that's not good. Tina unlocks previously latent telekinetic powers, which results in her father's death at the bottom of Crystal Lake. Tina, who is now a teenager, is still struggling with the guilt surrounding her father's death. Tina's mother, Amanda, takes her to the same lakeside residence as part of her treatment from her psychiatrist. Dr. Cruz begins a series of experiments, verbal assaults, designed to agitate Tina's mental state, forcing her powers to become more pronounced. However, it is later revealed that Dr. Cruz is really trying to exploit Tina's psychic powers. Jerk. After a particularly upsetting session with Dr. Cruz, Tina runs from the cabin into the dock, thinking about her father's death. While thinking about him, she wishes he would come back. Instead, she accidentally resurrects Jason. Oh, that's not good. Jason emerges from the lake, and his reign of terror descends on the area once again. Dun dun dun! Next door to the Shepard residence is a group of teens who are throwing a birthday party for their friend Michael. The group includes Michael's cousin Nick, Preppy Russell and his girlfriend Sandra, Ben and his girlfriend Kate, science fiction writer Eddie, stoner David, perky Robin, shy Maddie, and snobby socialite Melissa. Nick, who has arrived just for the party, becomes attracted to Tina, much to Melissa's chagrin. Melissa attempts to break up Nick and Tina, even going as far as kissing Eddie to make Nick jealous, but her schemes are to no avail. Haha! Tina tells Nick about Jason and has a vision of Jason murdering Michael. Meanwhile, Jason kills Michael in real life, along with Michael's girlfriend Jane, and later kills another couple camping in the woods. Ugh. While Tina goes off with Nick to find her mother, Jason proceeds to kill the other teens. Russell and Sandra go to the lake for a swim. While Sandra goes skinny dipping, Russell is killed with an axe to his face. Sandra discovers his body before she is pulled under the water and drowned. Maddie goes looking for David but finds Russell's body. She runs for help, but Jason attacks her in a nearby barn and kills her with a sickle. Jason then kills Ben by crushing his skull, and then Kate by driving a party horn into her eye. Inside the house, Jason stabs David and slices Eddie's, feelings spurned by Melissa, Nick, open. Upstairs, Robin finds David's severed head and is thrown out a window to her death. When Jason attacks Dr. Cruz, he saves himself by using Amanda as a human shield. But eventually, Jason kills him with a pole chainsaw. Tina finds her mother's body shortly afterwards and uses her powers to electrocute Jason and to crash the house down on him. Nick and Tina try to tell Melissa what happened. Melissa thinks they are crazy and tries to leave the house, but Jason slams an axe into her face, killing her. Yay, I guess? Nick tries to fight off Jason, but he is quickly subdued. Tina unleashes her powers, which forces Jason's mask to tighten until it breaks in two, revealing his disfigured face. As the battle rages on, the Shepard Lakeside cabin is destroyed by an explosive fire and the attack continues on the dock. Although Tina is unable to kill Jason, she only summons the spirit of her father, who emerges from the lake and drags Jason down with him into the depths of Crystal Lake, chaining the killer once more. The following morning, Tina and Nick are taken away in the ambulance. Someone finds Jason's broken mask in the wreckage, and the screen fades to black while Jason's whispers can be heard from far away. Dun dun dun. So, let's look at the production of this movie, beginning with conception. After the previous installment, Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives, which reintroduced the Jason Voorhees character, Part 7 was originally intended to be a crossover film between Jason Voorhees and Freddy Krueger. With each Friday the 13th sequel, the box profits were diminishing, with the films in the Nightmare on Elm Street series grossing nearly twice the amount of the Friday films. Paramount Pictures proposed a crossover idea to New Line Cinema, the rival company who held the rights to the Elm Street films, with Paramount controlling domestic distribution and New Line controlling international distribution. The idea was abandoned after the two companies failed to come to an agreement. The concept eventually came to fruition with Freddy vs. Jason in 2003, after New Line had purchased the rights to the Friday the 13th franchise. One of the concepts for Part 7 was conceived by social producer Barbara Sachs, and was noted as being similar to the plot of Jaws, where an incorporated land developer covers up the previous Jason Voorhees massacres in order to properly build condos on Crystal Lake. Executive producer Frank Musco Jr. resisted the idea, and screenwriter Daryl Haney stated, quote, "There's always a teenage girl who's left to battle Jason by herself, or the girl with telekinetic powers." Sachs, who considered the Jason vs. Carrie concept to be an interesting idea, wanted the installment to be more respectable than the previous entries in the series. Haney said that, quote, "She wanted it to be like any other Friday the 13th movie. She wanted to win an Academy Award." Okay then. Several high-profile directors were considered for the job, including the Italian filmmaker Federico Fellini. Now on to the production. The film's original working title was Birthday Bash, chosen to conceal its identity as a Friday the 13th film. The entire production of this film was scheduled, completed, and released within 7 months. Shooting took place from October to November 1987 in Baldwin County, Alabama, at Burns Lake off Highway 225 and nearby Mobile. This film marks the first of 4 appearances by Kane Hodder as Jason, the only actor ever to reprise the role. Although C.J. Graham, who had portrayed Jason in Part 6, was initially considered, Hodder was ultimately chosen based on his work in the film Prison, for which New Blood's director, Carl Buechler, had worked on as a special effects makeup artist. In that movie, Hodder filmed a scene in which his character, a prisoner executed in an electric chair, rises from the grave. Hodder has suggested to Buechler that he have maggots coming out of his mouth during this scene to heighten the effect of decomposition, and went on to film the sequence with live maggots spilling out of his mouth. Ugh. Buechler remembered Hodder's commitment to the part when casting the New Blood, and chose Hodder over Graham. Graham expressed disappointment, as he had hoped to reprise the role of Jason and make himself synonymous with the character, as Boris Karloff had with Frankenstein's monster, but ultimately expressed satisfaction with Hodder's portrayal and said he bore no ill will about not being asked to return. Hodder would go on to make cinematic history for the longest uninterrupted on-screen controlled burn in Hollywood history. For the scene in which Tina causes the furnace to shoot flames at Jason, Hodder was actually set on fire by an apparatus rigged so that the ignition could be captured on film, as opposed to being edited in later trick photography. Hodder was on fire for a full 40 seconds, a record at the time. Ew. Now on to post-production. The one contemporary critic noted that the film is, quote, "nearly devoid of blood and gore by 80s slasher standards." Several explicit scenes of gore were cut in order to avoid an X rating. Among these were the murder sequences of Maddie, who originally had a sickle jammed through her neck, Ben's death, which showed Jason crushing his head into a bloody pulp, Kate's death revealed the gory aftermath of a party horn to her eyeball. We see Eddie's head at the floor, a shot of Russell's face splitting open with a large blood spurt. Dana's original death had Jason ripping out his guts. Amanda Shepard's death originally showed Jason stabbing her from behind, which with the resulting blade going through her chest and subsequent blood hitting Dr. Cruz. Dr. Cruz's death showed Jason's tree trimming saw violently cutting into his stomach, sending a fountain of blood and guts in the air. Melissa's original death had Jason cleaving her head in half with an axe, with a close-up of her eyes still wriggling in their sockets. The box set DVD release of all the films and the single deluxe edition have all these scenes available as deleted scenes in rough work print footage. However, the deluxe edition features more additional footage than the box set. Now about the soundtrack. On September 27, 2005, VSX Records released a limited edition CD of Fred Emlin's Friday the 13th Part 7 and 8 scores. And now let's look at this use of this film in other media. References is made to the events of the New Blood in the novel Friday the 13th, Hate, Kill, Repeat. Oh, interesting. So overall, this movie is okay at best, but yeah, that's really all I can say about it. And yeah, the whole Jason versus Carrie thing is kind of interesting, but still, it would have been better if it had been a crossover Nightmare on Elm Street. But hey, at least we find a God Freddy versus Jason in 2003. Am I right? So overall, I give Friday the 13th Part 7: The New Blood 3 jack-o'-lanterns out of 5. Well, I may or may not be able to continue on tomorrow, but if I do, I will be looking at Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. Yay. So, until then...